let's talk about how to build a culture of shared learning across the organization. Okay. Create learning days. I love this one. So if you want to be an always be learning organization, I recommend you just take time, whether it be once a month, whether it's a full day, whether it's one day a week, whether it's just 1 hour out of one day every month, whatever it is. Creating learning days is a great way for people to share different things that they've learned over the course of their month. And of course, if they're not learning anything over the course of 1 month, some major things are probably wrong at the organization, right? People aren't being pushed and challenged. You're not growing the way that you want to learn. But creating that space for people to share new things that they've learned is a great way to encourage learning at your organization. Also, I recommend creating learning channels. Slack, great learning channel to use to be able to have, hey, what is some shared learning? It could be industry insights that you have. It could be tips and tricks on the tools that you're learning. It could be, somebody who's learning some random thing outside of work that they want to share with everybody. But again, creating the channels for these things to exist are really important for you to get that shared knowledge and to get that engagement and conversation around a culture of always be learning. And I also encourage embedding learning in leadership. So, if our leaders are not focused on learning and not focused on their own personal growth, how are you going to expect the people to follow them in that learning style? So, leaders can, again, using these new channels, ask people what they've learned in the last 2 weeks. They can share what they're currently focused on learning. They can talk with their teams and ask what their specific learning and professional development goals are. And those are questions and conversations. If they're not actively being pushed to their employees and the people that they're managing, they won't know that that's okay to focus on that extra professional development. And also, I'm curious to see what leaders want to learn. As leaders, especially in a remote workplace, we can also often feel like we have to have the answers, when I actually don't believe that's true. I don't believe a leadership's job is to have the answers. It's to get consensus and get people to ask the right questions. And I think leaning into the right questions leads to knowledge gaps, which is important. And if we have knowledge gaps, that means it's just another opportunity for us to learn even more. And questions are a great way to identify that. And then finally, super important, we need to promote people who invest in learning. Similar to what we were talking about, doing those skills-based assessments and skill gaps, and if people are investing in them, where's their pathway to be able to use those skills? If we're not promoting people who invest in learning, we're going to give them the skills at this job, and then they're just going to pass through our organization and move on to another one. And if we as learning and development professionals want to retain talent that we are investing in, we also have to have clear pathways to promote them. And we need to set those expectations with people who are training and say, hey, these skills combined together map you perfectly to this other job description. And finding out what people want, if that's part of their career growth plan, then great. If not, we need to be finding out what their career growth plans are so that we can map our skills training to align with their career growth that also aligns with opportunity within the organization. Because if we're investing in skills that don't align with our career trajectory, and our career trajectory does not align with potential opportunity at the organization, we're going to be hitting a ceiling, and that person is going to leave. So identifying what that looks like, super important.